Hello everybody, welcome to the Isabella Sunshine Channel and welcome to another episode of Career Talks. Today we are coming in from Penticton, British Columbia, Canada, actually right on the shores of beautiful, stunning Okanagan Lake, which is a fjord-built lake here in the Okanagan region. And I have a very special guest. Her name is Serena and she hails also from British Columbia. And today we're going to be diving a little bit of an impromptu style interview, but we're going to be talking about what it means to be a forest teacher. So I'm going to ask Serena a few kind of ad-lib questions about what it means to have this career, and I hope that it sheds some light, perhaps if you're examining where you're going with your life at this time and maybe some training that you want to do, you might be inspired by a little bit of what Serena does with her career to dive into some forest skills, bushcraft, and some of the ancient arts that she examines. So Serena, right off the bat, what is your career? Welcome to Career Talks, where we dive deep into different career options. I interview people from all walks of life who have chosen a variety of careers. I ask the easy questions, but I also don't shy away from the hard questions. I want to give you an honest outlook about whether these career choices will be right for you. So sit back, grab a beverage, and listen in to Career Talks. What is your career?
It's actually, it can be a forest or nature mentor. So although we do lots of teaching, it's really at the core of it is a mentorship and mentoring youth, or also the village. It's not only just the youth, but primarily my work for the last 7 years have been with the children. And yeah.
What does it look like? So if someone were asking themselves, what exactly does a forest mentor do? What is, like, day in, day out, what does that career look like?
What does this career look like? How did I get into it? And how did I find myself there? All right. So, I work mostly on the Vancouver Island, although I did grow up here in the Okanagan Valley, playing in those clay banks. That was my forest school, was just playing in the clay. So really, it's about connecting in with the earth. It's about these three things. If I was to narrow it down, it's about connection with the earth or the land, connection with each other, and connection with ourselves. And so at the very heart of everything we do as a forest mentor is to connect others to these things so that they may develop this relationship, these invisible strings of connection to nature. And so what a day would look like, would you want to hear what a day would look like?
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes, please.
We arrive and we'll have a trickle-in game. As the children are arriving, we might have a nature museum set up where there's little artifacts of crafts that we may have made on the table, and we do something called the art of questioning. And this is what is really different about mentorship versus teaching, is that we don't teach in a didactic way by give the answers. If somebody asks us a question, I might respond with a question to further build that connection for that student between the items. So I'll keep the mystery alive for a lot longer. So that's the art of mentoring. So we might start the day off with something like that, the art of questioning, and then have a trickle-in game, and then we'll arrive at our circle spot for the day, where we'll have a fire often, and just the lighting of the fire itself is such a core part of the day. It's done with a friction fire or a bow drill by having two pieces of wood come together, and then we sing with the fire, and we start our day with a gratitude circle, and that's how our minds come together as one. And that's my favorite part of the day, really, is the gratitude.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
because
that part.
Your students, if they're called students, are they coming to forest school instead of, so in lieu of kind of a standard curriculum school, or are they more younger students? Are they more preschoolers, or what age groups are you working with, or does this profession work with?
Yeah, so I've worked all with actually Victoria's First Nature School, VNS, Victoria Nature School, and they have a preschool, so 3 to 5, and that's has been incredible for building motor skills with the children. I've been primarily working with ages 5 to 7, so that kindergarten age, and I've noticed those students that I have come into that class that have gone to nature preschool is they're incredibly resilient and
So cool.
advanced in their motor skills. And then we have an 8 to 12. I also teach that one. And in this, we're focusing more on building, a lot of heart skills in the younger ages. And then we start to introduce more of the hand skills with the 8 to 12. So fire, creation. I teach herbalism, wild crafting, learning about edible foods and such. And with these programs, they can register for a weekly program or full time. Yeah. So a lot of the students will go to regular school, and then they'll come out of school once a week to come here, or they're at homeschool learners. Yeah, and then they come for
one day in the forest, because it's literally learning in the forest or the outdoors, right?
Yeah. So, and there is a program with the academic component as well, and that's a full-time program. Yeah.
So if I came to you tomorrow and I was like, Serena, my calling is to be a forest mentor, what training would I need? How would I get trained? How could I do what you do?
How could you do what I do?
Yeah.
You will be very, very lucky and blessed. So it can come through a few different ways. Having a lot of lived experience is how I entered into this world. I was actually living in the Arctic up in Baffin Island and really connecting deeply back with the land and learning different skills, as well as going back to the place of my ancestors in Scotland and Ireland and learning what ancestor skills felt really important to me that I wanted to learn. A lot of wool processing and working with hides. And then, so there's coming into it through a lot of lived experience. And there's a course that I took, which is called The Art of Mentoring. And it is through the Wilderness Awareness School. There's one in Washington, which is where I went. And then there's also trainings that happen up here in Canada as well with some friends on Salt Spring Island and in the Highlands of Victoria. And that's called Coyote Mentoring. Cool. And that's an incredible training that really gives amazing skills and an incredible way of being with children and families in the forest that builds connection. And there's an entire book called, I want to call it Coyote Craft, but no, it's not. It's called Coyote Mentoring by John Young, who's a naturalist.
So I know there's a lot of studies, Richard Louve's Last Child in the Woods, that came out quite a while ago now, and a lot of studies showing the benefits of risky play, but also being in the woods and having that nature connection. So let's say, I know a few colleges and universities are, when they're doing the training for early childhood educators, they're adding a minute amount of nature and risk play components, but I feel like it's not a very strong part of the curriculum at this time. And then perhaps same for teachers. I don't think when you do teaching college that there's any nature school in there. I don't know for sure because I'm not an expert, but so are there some people in your profession who maybe were teachers or certified teachers, but they've actually moved away from it and gone more into this nature school, or how does that work?
Yeah. There is actually in our staff where I work through Thriving Roots. Most of us are actually have experience in counseling. There's some RCCs, but we're really the mentor is kind of a mix between the counselor and the teacher, and we're coming in this way of mentorship to inspire and to
Okay, I'm curious, what would be, and I know since we're on the spot, Serena just agreed to do this interview today, so thank you for that. But I also, neither of us really prepared for it, so I respect that I'm a little bit on the fly asking you. But if you had a minute to think about it, and you thought of the top 3 things about this career, what could they be? Or even the top 1 or 2, because I know you're on the spot. And also, are there any cons? So what would be the top 3 pros and the top 3 cons?
So I guess like the first one is just living and leading an inspired life that's driven by soul purpose. That would be the big pro, is that it's very rewarding in the way that you're constantly every day inspiring and changing a child's life. The second one is being around a fire when it's raining outside, and maybe the rest of the world is like stuck in a cubicle, and there you are with a fire, with a little mini village circled around you. I just, when I'm having those days, I just realize how truly blessed I am.
All right, Serena, so we were just talking about some of the pros of this job, and then what if I were to ask you what were some of the cons? Like, I know off the top of my head, I kind of start thinking, oh, maybe there's not the same benefits, for example, like a teacher's pension or benefits like that. But I bet there's probably things I'm not thinking of too. What would be, so you've said some of the good positives, but what would be some negatives? Now the sun is in our eyes. Sorry about that.
It's okay, I love it. Love the sunshine. Yeah, I guess that would be one of not working for the public school system, then you would not have those benefits. I guess another one would be just these days there's a lot of high levels of neurodiversities and special needs, and we're a place that all kids are welcome, the ones that are having a hard time in the school system because they don't want to sit in those desks. So we're getting a lot of those children because they thrive and do really well in nature. Something I say is ADHD, attention dialed into hidden dimensions. Like,
I like that.
Right?
Attention dialed into hidden dimensions.
Hidden or higher dimensions.
I'm going to tell that to my friends with ADHD.
Yeah, so that child that's sitting in the desk that's looking out the window, and the teacher's like, stop, like, pay attention. And the child's like, but I am paying attention. I'm paying attention to the little animal that's crawling on the branch outside the window. Those children are meant for the outdoors to be, they have such probably like a hunter-gatherer gene within, an ancient gene within their system that notices every little thing moving in the forest, where we study a lot of tracking. Yeah. And, scouting and these ways. And I teach wool spinning. So this spinning, you could use a plastic fidget in school, or you could use your fingers to create beautiful art. Yeah. I believe these children that are fidgeting are the weavers of the world.
It sounds like a really soul-fulfilling profession. Like, it sounds like you enjoy the days that you have at work, but you're also totally cognizant at the same time of the benefits to the little people that you're working with, and creating that environment that's healthy for them within the natural environment. Yeah.
It's really incredible as well because of how long, like in the public school system, you'll have a teacher for that year and then you move on and you may never see that teacher again. And with me, I have children that started in my forest school program who are 5 years old, and now they're 11 years old and they're 12 years old and they've been there. And I still get to be their mentor. And it becomes something so deep, like an extended family, like an auntie. And that's what it's an incredible way of creating community. And you can imagine the closeness and trust we have with the parents as well.
Do some students start at, right from preschool, and does it go all the way to high school? Does it in some countries? I don't know about Victoria.
Yeah, well, there's definitely the teen programs. Yes, there's teen programs, and there's a big need for that, as well as mentors who are willing to be there for these incredible campouts where you're really pushing edges and challenges and rites of passages.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if there were a young person watching the video today and they were considering working within a forest school environment, getting some certifications that would help them on that journey, is there a piece of advice that you would share with that person who's contemplating whether they want to work as a forest mentor? What would you say to them?
Yeah, get experience. You can apprentice. That's one incredible way of learning. You can go to, there's a really good one on Salt Spring. There's a program there that
Salt
you
Spring
can take.
Island?
Yeah, Salt Spring Island. Yeah,
Just-
on the
just in
coast.
case people are watching from
yeah,
Baja or something.
It's called Wisdom of the Earth, and that's a school that also teaches this eight shields that I've been trained in. Thriving Roots Wilderness School is the one in Victoria. Having wilderness first aid, we definitely have all that training as well. And yeah, just go out there and get inspired by going on a really good nature adventure.
I forget what.
Yeah, and there was just one more thing that came to mind. You had asked if I had any advice or any. Yeah, John Young, the Coyote Mentoring book is amazing. Also, Tom Brown is a tracker school, writes incredible literature around this work, and those two have been big influences behind the work I do. And also at the depth of it all, connect with your own ancestry, feel into what your ancestors, what skills did they have, what were they doing. The first time I went to Scotland and worked in tanned sheep hide, I could just feel my grandfathers so close with me. Maybe look into the languages and connect more with your own ancestors and bring that to the forefront of your work.
I really like that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, a really great gathering is this one here, Firemaker, as well. And they had their 25th anniversary this year. And so this is a place where we share ancestor skills, basket weaving and animal processing and all sorts of wonderful things.
Is that Victoria or where is that
This one's in Vancouver Island. It's in the Comox Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And there's a few others around here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That is so neat.
and that's where I got this you had asked
I know,
about.
I was asking about your headdress earlier, and you were
Yeah.
saying it was made out of ancient plants. And actually, do you want to take a minute just to tell us
Yeah,
about your headdress?
sure.
Because it's quite fascinating.
This is because I'm a fiber artist. I love working with animal fibers, and I do a lot of that in the programs I teach. And so this is a plant fiber, and this would be the traditional material that was used with the Wasanich people or the First Nations on the West Coast would work with cedar. It's the tree of life to them. So this was gifted to me by an incredible master craftsperson with bone and copper.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love that it has copper.
Yeah.
It's kind of ancient arts. Well, Serena, I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom with the world today. And thank you for appearing on this channel. So if you're contemplating a career in the forest, then I encourage you to start doing some research, getting some insights, and take into account some of the things that Serena shared with us today. So thank you so much again for sharing your insights with us. I encourage you to comment below if you have any stories of your own that you'd like to share. I'm also going to pop Serena's YouTube channel name under the comments as well, so you can look that up. And thank you once again for tuning into Career Talks today, and we hope you have a blessed day. And Serena, if you missed it, she actually is part of the Eat Weird Series 2 ahead as a special guest, and she was trying something called Perky Nanas. So if you're curious what a Perky Nana is and what Serena thinks of it, then I'm going to pop that video right here for you to watch. And thanks once again for joining us from Penticton, British Columbia.
Beautiful Okanagan Valley. Shoo!
Have a good one.